So welcome everybody to another episode of the J2 Hub podcast. We're going well because we've been recording quite consistently this year with a number of guests. And today I'm joined by somebody again from the UK. This seems to be a common pattern here on the podcast, guests from the UK and from the property field. But this guy, we've connected quite a while ago back in the UK, had a kind of conversation flying through here and there when we've met at events or seen each other. But I really wanted to sit down and kind of go through his mind and see what's going on, have a bit of a UK Dubai comparable and see where this conversation goes. So welcome, Arsh. Thank you so much for joining me on the J2 Hub podcast.
It's been a long time coming, I think.
Absolutely, mate. It certainly has.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. So Arsh, listen, first of all, anybody watching this right now is going to think, what is he doing in Dubai and why has he been here for so long? So break it down to us, man. How long have you been here? Because you've been really quiet about it on socials.
That's probably, and I'm going to probably touch base on this, but I've been here in the best part of a month now.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, we made a kind of decision. We've talked about it. Lots of couples in the UK talk about, oh, shall we move? Shall we move? Shall we move? And then this year, we said, well, shall we make this year the year? And then we started to plan it out. We started looking at where the kids, where the kids are in their educational plan. And we thought that perhaps August could be the time, ready for the new educational year.
Sure.
So I've been out here just doing, best way of describing it, on a fact-finding mission.
Mm-hmm.
Can I stick it out here? Can I do it? Or more important, what am I going to do when I'm here? And I've done lots of comparisons, and I've enjoyed it. It's been scary as hell, but yeah, it's good. Okay. But I suppose you probably went through all this when you did this, but you jumped straight in and you moved in.
Yeah, absolutely. We came out in April on a bit of a family holiday, which turned into a 3-week holiday. And then like yourself, August was the date because you need to give the notice into the schools.
Yeah.
And we were literally here that August.
Yeah.
The house was rented, everything done. Everything was on a shipping container over to here. We just thought if we're going to do it, it's whole hog. Yeah. We're not just going to trial it. Let's just go balls deep in and do it.
Okay. You glad you did?
I think so.
How long have you been here now?
Coming on to 2 years now. 2 years.
Okay.
As we were talking just a brief moment ago, there was that really shaky period, the first 3 months, because I'm sure you'll agree with this. When you've got a really good thing back home in the UK that works, it's just rinse and repeat, right? You finish something.
Yeah. It's the familiarity. It's the autopilot.
Yeah.
You wake up, you know what's going to go on. You know what you're going to be doing. You know who you're going to be speaking to. Whereas here, it's like, okay, what?
Yeah. But do you think that's a good thing, getting comfortable?
It depends because I've been doing it. I've been involved in property now 24 years full time.
Yeah.
So I feel like, in all honesty, questions that I've asked myself in my own head is that, do I want to really all start again? I'm 43 years old. I'm at a point where everything is very comfortable back home.
Yeah.
Coming back here now, am I throwing myself out of the comfort zone and for what reason? So I don't know. So I've kind of asked myself lots of questions. And it's good because my wife is the balance side. And she goes, you're asking yourself all the same those questions, but look at it from the other side, from the lifestyle, the safety, what your children are going to bring out from this. And I get that. But then you got to think that, it's you're moving your life to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And where you're going to pretty much have to start from scratch.
Yeah. My answer to that would be, it's nice to be comfortable, but what I found was in the comfort zone, I wasn't growing anymore.
Yeah, I get that as well.
It was literally like I'd finish a HMO project, had another one lined up to go. You'd add more cash flow on every month. And for me, the buzz used to come from creating the product, taking something shit, making it into something nice, getting the valuation. The monetary side wasn't even that exciting for me.
Yeah.
It was a creation. And then I just thought to myself, look, if I'm going to do something for the latter part of my life, because similar ages, I came here when I was 40, I've just turned 42. And same thing, you start asking yourself, shit, last 20 years, I've worked to get comfortable. What are you doing? Why are you trying to get yourself uncomfortable now and start all over again?
Yeah, it's so, and that's the thing, because part of my property journey was that I started in year 2000 when I left university. Like most Asians, my parents had a small property portfolio.
Yep.
When I left uni, I thought I was going to DJ all over the world. because that's what I used to do. I DJ'd up until flipping nearly 30.
Wow, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, so I DJ'd from the age of 15 up until 13 clubs. 15 years old, I was DJing in clubs.
Wow.
And it did really well for me. I enjoyed it. It's easy. It's a good lifestyle. But then when I left uni, my dad says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Dad, I'm going to DJ." He goes, "No, you fucking not." No, you're not. He goes, "You're going to come and help me in the property side?" I said, "All right, then. All right, okay." I was worried about the chapel, man.
Yeah, did he say it in the Asian accent as well?
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. It would have been the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, think of East is East.
Okay.
And then throw in a few of the B words as well. It's wicked because I'm one of 6.
Okay.
I'm one of 6, and all the others had kind of gone off into there's only me and one other brother that stuck it out with my dad's business, because he had 2 businesses. He had an engineering company, which was very much hands-on, dirty, covered with oil every day.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew from 4 years old.
Okay.
I used to go to school, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'd be at the factory cleaning up all the swarf.
Yeah. Off the machines.
Yeah. And then literally putting it in the containers ready for them to come and collect it on Monday.
Yeah.
And cash it in. So Saturday, Sunday, and then all school holidays, that's all I knew. I used to just be covered. Literally, you know, I could say it's probably child labour if you thought about it now.
Yeah.
And but I was deprived of all school holidays, all weekends, never used to do anything. All my mates used to be going out playing football on the fields. No, I couldn't do that. I was knackered.
Yeah.
I was generally knackered. School, homework wasn't a thing really. And my parents weren't really big into, they said, "Yeah, you're going to help us and we're going to grow you through that way."
Yeah.
So it was a lesson of life that I was brought upon.
Mm.
So anyway, my dad's portfolio run very badly at the time.
Yeah.
Tenants were doing whatever they pleased. Sometimes they paid, sometimes they didn't. They'd be hiding. You know, this is back in days where you could walk into a room and find them in the wardrobe. And then every Friday, I had to go around every single room because our houses were HMOs.
Right, okay.
The bedsits.
Bedsits back then.
Then.
Yeah.
So, but we all had 50p meters in every room.
Okay.
So I had to go, and everyone had a little padlock. And my dad never systemised anything. I had to just empty a bag of keys in every room. Fucking hell, this key don't work. This key don't work. This key don't work. I thought, fuck, this is hard work, man.
Yeah.
So when I started taking over, I restructured everything. It took me about 2 years to restructure, to get it all right. And then I thought, okay, now what, on board? It took me about an hour a week to manage. And so we started growing the engineering side, but again, I didn't like that. It was very dirty work, very manual work. We had large contracts with companies like Caterpillar, and we used to manufacture parts for earth movers and forklifts.
Okay.
So they could give us a drive shaft, and we'd have to just engineer a part. And then they slowly but surely started taking the parts from steel to nylon.
Okay.
Which is like a form of plastic, and that kind of fizzled out the contract, and so we had to put more of an emphasis now on the property side. So yeah.
Would you say your dad became an accidental landlord,
100%.
like most people do?
100%.
Or a lot of that generation I found, because my mum's from that generation, they accidentally all became landlords.
Yeah, 100%, because the money that he generated from the engineering company, he used to just think, oh, bit of security, buy a house.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, there was there's no mortgages or anything back then. You know, if you ask my dad, God rest his soul, passed away 8 years ago, but he most he ever paid for a house was £1,500.
Wow.
£1,500.
Yeah, but that would have been a lot of money.
Yeah, it
back
would be a
then,
lot of money
right?
back then. Yeah. And it's crazy, but he was doing all kinds of stuff that, if you think about it today, we've just applied a name to it. We applied a name. Like, so he went to one of his mates. He was kind of bidding against someone else for a house, and he didn't have the extra 500 quid for the house, so he went to his mate. And his mate lent him. Now, if you work on the basis of that, they kind of did a JV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a JV.
Yeah.
But no, literally, his mate gave him 500 quid in a carrier bag, a little brown paper bag.
Yeah.
And he did it, and then he paid him back slowly, and so it's crazy.
Wow.
So it's crazy. It really is. But there's nothing new in property. There's no such thing as a new strategy in property.
I like
Everything has all been done.
Sure.
We're attaching a fancy name to it to attract a shiny penny.
Okay.
HMO is not new.
No.
HMO, but I've been walking in HMO since 1984. That's when I was 4 years old. The moment walking, I was going around collecting rent. So I've been in the tough school of landlording, basically.
So how was it when you cleaned everything up? How did Dad take it when you said, we now
There
have
was a real power shift, because of the battle. Because thinking, fuck, okay, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Because he used to let to anyone and everyone.
No background checks, no nothing.
Nothing whatsoever. You want a room? Okay, and you come. Oh, you haven't got the money today? Okay, pay me next Friday when you get paid. I said to him, no, that can't happen. I said, let's be a little bit more strategic with what we do. He goes, but it's been working. I said, no, it hasn't been working because we've got all these people that owe us money. And then sometimes on payday, they just basically leave.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, so
Go and get a room somewhere else.
They were paying in arrears as opposed to in advance. So back then, I learned the real tough way because I'd say 90% of the tenants in my dad's portfolio back then were housing benefit. So, or they were on the labour. So the word was labour before it became housing benefit. Housing benefit became LHA, local housing allowance. It's now referred to as universal credit.
Yep.
So I was involved when it was labour. So, and this is where the government pay people to live in the property. If they can't afford, if they can't work, won't work, whatever it may be. And they all paid the tenants 4 weeks in arrears, but luckily it always used to come direct to the landlord.
Okay.
So there was a lot of admin, housing benefit application forms, chasing up on application forms, making sure that all the correct info was in, making sure the rent schedules came in every 4 weeks, checking who was paid, who wasn't paid, chasing up the ones that hadn't paid. And then it was difficult. So we kind of rescheduled that. I said to my dad, for every person, we had some workers, and believe it or not, out of the whole portfolio, it was the people that were working that weren't paying, because we knew the benefit ones were being paid, although it was time intensive, but the workers weren't paying. So I said to my dad, back in 2000, I said, for every worker that leaves, we're replacing it with a housing benefit tenant. And he goes, no, in the Indian accent. No. And he goes, no. And I said, yeah, don't worry. I said, there's methods of madness here. I said, because if the rent is £100 a week, £90 of it is coming from the government. So our risk to this tenant now is only 10%.
Yeah.
Whereas your risk to the working tenant is 100%. And if they're leaving and you're collecting it off them weekly, we're working harder and our risk is greater. I said, so let's bring it down. And let's bring the risk down. And we filled it, 100% occupancy, 90% came from the government, 10% used to come through either via cash payments or like bank transfers. And it worked really well. And then we hit a massive stumbling block in 2008 where they introduced local housing allowance, where the government then said, we're not paying you as the landlord anymore. We're paying the tenant.
And they've got to pay you.
Yeah. And my dad just gave me a look. He gave me a look. I knew what that look was.
I told you.
He goes, what the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
He goes, now, at least we had some people that were working that had a bit of financial, understanding as to how it works. Now we're going to give all these people who don't work, don't know how to manage their money, 500 quid in the bank every month. Yeah. It's like Christmas every day of the week for them. Whew. I'm telling you the tough part of landlording. 2008 to 2010 was tough. Yeah. I thought we'd made it easy. 2008 to 2010 was tough because now all of our tenants were now getting paid. And so what I said to the council, don't pay any of our tenants into their bank. And they go, how do you want them to pay us? They said, I want to pay them a cheque. I thought, okay. They said, okay, we can do it, but why? I said, I was the first landlord in the UK to approach any bank and say, I want third-party authority over that cheque. So providing the tenant signs the back of that cheque, they can hand me that cheque and I can bank it. I spoke with all the banks, got them all on board. Took me a bit of a time. There was lots of concerns about, data protection, money laundering, all that kind of stuff. But we got it through. And so now my only real concern was, is the tenant going to hand me the cheque? So I had to sit down with Royal Mail.
Oh, way.
I said, guys, tell me your delivery schedules.
Yeah.
They go, what do you need to know that? I said, what day are you on Compton Road? I said, I've got 100 people there going to collect. We need to collect 100 cheques. They go, we can't tell you that. And so me and my brother, 2008, from 6 o'clock onwards in the morning, we had people sitting in streets in cars waiting for the Royal Mailman. And literally, we had a schedule of all the checks that were due. We'd tick off all the ones that had been collected. And then we knew the people that we had to chase. So how it worked, and this is, honestly, it's so painful thinking about it. Wet, windy day, sat outside 100 Compton Road. So I own a row of houses between 98 Compton Road to 112 Compton Road. 8 houses. Each house is converted into like mini studios. So we've got approximately 100 in that block there. So we knew that this is our biggest risk. Mm. And we were waiting from 6 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the postman. As soon as the post, what Royal Mail said, it says, you can wait for the postman to leave the property. You cannot approach the postman. I said, why? He goes, you're not allowed to speak to our postman. So we had to wait for him to open the gate, walk up to the front door, post the checks through, leave the property boundary, and then we could go in, knock on the door.
And grab the checks.
Grab the checks, knock on the tenant's door, sign the back of this, boom, on to the next one, on to the next one.
Wow.
Now, just imagine doing that the best part of 800 times.
Yeah.
Every fortnight, because they got paid fortnightly.
But you know what? It's an obstacle, and you overcame it.
I thought, honestly, we had screwed up. I thought at that point we were going to go flipping bump. Genuinely, I thought we've now given. Just imagine Jeremy Carl. We'd created a Jeremy Carl situation. We've got all these people, got checks, and believe it or not, some tenants would switch it on. They would collect the check from the front door. They would be out the back door, over the fence, in cash converter.
Because they can cash the check there, right?
So guess what I had to do? I had to go and sit with cash converter. I said, guys, okay, this is my scenario. I said, I'm going to have someone sat outside your door on these days, because this is who I know when they're going to, and if I see this person walking in, I'm going to pull them up outside. Mm. It's crazy. Like a mini mafia.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Mini mafia operation. It was crazy. And then slowly but surely, we went through the whole evolution. I'm telling you the horrible side, because I've had so many great times in property, phenomenal times. But it's these painful times that helped me realise that, you know, coming to Dubai and stuff like that, this is a pain that I've had to do to get to this point in my life. Mm. So we finally sat down with RBS, Royal Bank of Scotland, and I said to them, guys, I want you to set up a tenant account in the name of a tenant for every single tenant that I've got. I said, I will bring them here. You fill out all the forms. You get confirmation, but I want third-party mandate over that account. They said, no chance. And then finally, we managed to crack them, break them down. I had third-party mandate over every single account. And this was the point where they started online banking. And then I had third-party access to the app.
Okay.
So I no longer had to sit outside the door, because then Monday morning, it was literally Monday morning, midnight, money went into the bank on the app, boom, 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 out, straight into my account.
Right.
So yeah, it was piece of cake. Then we're back flying. And then 2 years later, RBS said, we're cutting it. We don't want it, because he goes, we're not making any money. Mm. He goes, all we're happening is money's coming in, money's coming out, straight back out. He goes, there's nothing there. He goes, we're just acting on money remittances. So we had to go through, and then we went through the credit union process, and then we're still in the credit union process. So every tenant has a credit union account. We have third-party mandate over that, and it comes to us so through the bank. So again, we've slowly but surely droned out from the benefit market, because obviously the benefit market, the rates that you get from benefits to what you can now achieve to the private sector or the working class, obviously the benefits outweigh where we were. So we've gone a full loop from what my dad was doing, working to professionals, to benefits, back to professionals.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. Do you know what? Would you say the UK rental system's flawed?
100%.
Yeah.
We're paying people to sit on the backside.
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked you that question is I'm not sure if you know how it works here. So in Dubai, it's very, very simple. You as a landlord, if I was renting from you and you said, James, your rent's 200,000 dirhams a year, you could say, okay, James, I want the rent all up front on day one.
Correct, yeah.
And I've got to pay you up front.
So it works on a check system, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so it works on a check system. So check system is, because we've been looking, part of my journey here do we lease a property for the first year so we cut our teeth into Dubai, or do we go straight out and buy? I thought, well, not sure how the kids are going to relate, or I'm sure they'll love the water parks and the fun and the sun, but can they hack it for the whole period? So I thought if we lease for 12 months, but whilst I've been speaking to agents, they've all said, okay, you can lease, 12-month agreement, but the payments either has to be in 1 check, 2 checks, 4 checks. Some have said 6 checks, but the maximum has been 6 checks. Yeah. So you've got to pay all post-dated 6 checks up front.
And they've all got to be honoured.
They've all got to be honoured, because if you're not, it's a police
you're in trouble. Yeah. So I think here people have that fear, right? Yeah. And plus, when you take an Ajari contract, it's connected to your Emirates ID. Yeah. So automatically, if you've gone in and told the landlord, I've got a job at the hospital, I earn X amount, as soon as your Emirates ID is attached to it, it's going to show, yes, you do earn this, you do earn that. So it just saves that whole kind of rigmarole that we've got in the UK of credit referencing. Because even credit referencing now, I had someone try to cheat a credit referencing. All they did was PDF editor, they'd edited a bank statement that they'd got from somebody else.
It's so easy.
Yeah, and you know what I'm looking at it thinking, how is this woman, single Indian woman with a child, her bank statement showing 12 grand at Rolex, 8 grand at Rolex, 5 grand at Rolex. Then when we looked at the PDF editor, looked at the source of the document, it'd shown that it was a NatWest bank statement and it said edited. And then when you hovered over it, you could see what part has been edited on it. Yeah. So, but that just wouldn't happen here. People are actually quite scared to piss about.
Yeah, there's a lot of, not scaremongery, because that's the wrong way of saying it, but they know that if they do something out of line, there's consequences. In the UK, there's no consequences. You're going to get a slap on the wrist. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a slap on the wrist, don't do it again. Or, here's a bit of community service. And then, there's no, I suppose that's where, are we in a dictatorship here? Are we in a...
Well, you could kind of say so.
Yeah, so we're in a dictatorship in Dubai, in the UK, where we just do as we please.
Yeah, no one's scared.
No one's scared.
I think we've got no serious welfare system here. There's no state system here either.
There isn't. So you've got to go out and earn it here. Whereas in the UK, you've got that safety net. As long as you've got a national insurance number, you've got that safety net that your council tax is going to be paid. Your housing benefit is going to be a large part of your rent, your housing cost is going to be paid. Mm-hmm. If you've got kids, you can get like food, milk vouchers. You've got shelters. There's none of that here. Yeah. You're not earning, you're not eating.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. And your job is attached to your visa. So if you lose your job, your visa's going to expire and you're going to have to leave the country, or you need to find another job.
That's why this place progresses so well. And just talking to the real estate agents, talking to the letting agents here. I've got this guy, this letting agent, he's texting me every half an hour. Oh, you want to look at this? You want to look at that? And when I met him first time, I said, you on commission or you on salary? He goes, no, 100% commission. Yeah. So I said, so if you don't let...
You don't eat?
You don't eat. He goes, yeah. And you got to remember, it's a dog-eat-dog industry here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got invited, very kindly got invited to a property launch. Yeah. And honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It's like they threw meat out to a pack of dogs, pack of wolves. And threw meat out to a pack of wolves. They were listening to every word. They're filming it. They're filming the thing. Then they're WhatsApping it out to people. They were Instagramming it. And it's just, I watched it. I watched the full evolution of it. And I liked it. Have I got that drive to do that? I don't think I've got the drive to do that, if I'm honest. But
I was in the same boat as you, because obviously I've got my own agency here now and I'm selling. But the difference is I'm not doing it in the way everybody else is doing it. When you're 42 years old, you've got a network that you've built up. So it's quite easy to tap into that network and suggest investments to people. Yeah. And I think the problem here in Dubai, I honestly feel with real estate, is they set the bar too low, where anybody can walk in and they see it on Dubai Bling, I might sell something, I might make X amount of money. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people that come here, spend all their money, and they have to go back home because they've not sold anything. Yeah. Nobody treats this like an art. Real estate is an art. Property is an art. Like you said, it's never... They've started using posh words for it now, even in the UK. But the fundamentals have always been the same. But I feel there's a lot of people that come here that don't take it seriously. And like you said, it becomes a dog-eat-dog world where they throw a bit of meat out there. Everybody's like, oh, I need a piece because I need to eat. Yeah.
So it's crazy. I mean, yes, but I kind of question how many of those are actually selling.
Very small people will sell.
Yeah. So I've probably worked on an 80-20 rule. Yeah. 80% are not doing anything. Yeah. 20% are.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I got to, I'm allowed to name drop any
Go ahead.
developers here. So I sat down with one of the heads of Shoba.
Yeah.
He got introduced to me through a friend of a friend of a friend. And that's kind of why I really like Dubai, because everyone's really open with information and want to share, and they actually want you to do well. So I sat down with one of the heads of Shoba, and he goes, okay. I said, so how are the agents performing? He goes, they're performing well. And one thing that hit the nail on the head of what you said, I said, so where are all your agents coming from? He goes, we'll accept anyone that will sell a property. And he goes, our biggest earners right now are ladies of the night. So the call girls. He goes, because they're sleeping with them during the night.
Yeah.
They're selling property to them during the day.
Yeah.
I thought, flipping heck.
It's bad, man. I've seen it firsthand, Arsh. I have literally seen this firsthand where a girl has, in front of me, not in so many words, just offered herself out to the client. And I honestly believe anybody who's a serious real estate investor is not going to look at a bit of skirt. It's going to be numbers. They need to sit down.
No, but it's influenced by other means. So, you know, it's crazy. But he goes that they're earning so much money now that they've actually come out of the other game. They're earning so much money from selling real estate.
Themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. All sorts goes here.
Yeah, but again, if you're sitting in the UK, you never see this. They're not going to show this on Dubai Bling, are they?
No.
So I mean, it's good. It's been a real eye opener being here, where I've not treated it as a holiday.
Yeah.
Not treated it as a holiday. It's a fact-find mission. And I've said, I'm going to come here, I'm going to meet as many people as I can, and I'm going to see where it goes. And there's so many different opportunities out here, but it is generally starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest, probably, I suppose, the thing that I've probably got in my own mind. Do I want to start from scratch at 43 years old? So my whole property portfolio is built on something that happened in 2007. So we had a development company from 2000 to 2007. I was running it with two other brothers, and we were building hundreds of apartments. We were, finance was easy. Everything was going well. We had this land, we were building here, we're securing the option on that land, we're securing the option on that land, we're selling off this land. We were very active, very, very active. And then 2007 came, 2008 came, and then everything that we're building, we're actually building at a loss, because let's say we're building it for, or we're trying to sell it for 100, it's being down value down to 70.
Yeah, sure.
And it's costing us 75 to build. So for every unit we're building, it's costing us money. So we had to close that down, but we lost a lot of personal wealth then. We lost a lot of personal wealth, lots of money. So I had to do a real restructure of the existing portfolio, because part of the hook was my dad's portfolio.
Sure.
Which we used as leverage for the other developments. And I'm also got the look, even though I'm the youngest. He goes, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck has gone on? He goes, I had a complete, secure property portfolio. No money owed on it, nothing.
What have you lot done?
What the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
And one of my brothers just washed his hands of it, goes, you know what, I can't handle this. And he went off and did his own thing. And it's up to me and one of my other brothers that had to then sit down. But my other brother, he was very much just, oh, Arsh, I need you to take the role. I need you to take the lead here. I'm the youngest one of 6.
Wow.
But I was the only one that literally had to sit down with the likes of Lloyd's. And back then, portfolio, let's just say, round numbers say, it was, we had lending with them, I think, at 2.5 million quid. But the portfolio that they had leverage, we were over-leveraged massively. Over-leveraged. And then Lloyd said, we're coming in for it. We had Lloyd's coming in for it. We had Yorkshire Bank coming in for it. We had Allied Irish Bank coming in for it. I had literally people coming in for us left, right, and centre. And I said, well, okay, we need to do something here. Got a bit of advice, and I sat down with Lloyd's, and I said to Lloyd's, okay, we've got a scenario. Scenario is take the properties, but you're going to be underwater still. You're not going to recoup what we owe you. And they said, what's the other option? And Yorkshire Bank says, don't worry, we're going to take it. I said, relax a bit.
Mm.
You know, let's not be too hasty here. Allied Irish and Lloyds were very accommodating. Yorkshire Bank, I don't mind saying this on camera, they're fucking sharks. They literally came for my throat.
Mm.
And my mom and dad said, you know, what the fuck is going on here? And I couldn't have the heart to tell them, you know, there's a very good chance we're going to lose this. You're going to lose your house that you live in. You're going to lose a portfolio that you spent 40 years or whatever.
Wow.
I said, really? I said, one of your sons has dug his head into the sand and doesn't want nothing to do with it. The other one has now pushed me in front of the firing line. So now I'm the one with my neck on the chopping block. So I said to Lloyds, I said, okay, got two ways. Take it, run it in auction. You're gonna still be millions under. You're still gonna be millions underwater. I said, what else are you going to collect? I said, or we can play the long game. We can play the long game. Let's structure something with AIB. Let's structure with something with Yorkshire. And let's bring this now at a point where we can see the debt coming down. And we structured our whole portfolio based on a capital repayment basis. And there were years, we spent years from 2008, probably up until 2018, where we didn't probably earn a penny out of our portfolio because we were so highly geared.
Yeah.
And we were paying massive overpayments to pay down chunks. So, you know, the last one, 2018 to 2020, we're on 24.
24, yeah.
I've kind of took my foot off the gas because that noose has been removed from my neck.
Yeah, of course.
I've gone from 125 to 130% leverage now to 4%.
Yeah.
And I structured all the debt. And the bank says, how long do you want? And I sat down and I thought, think of a date. I thought, 11th November 2025, 11:59 p.m. I wrote it on a piece of paper, sent it over to Mike, who was and he was brilliant. Mike Middleton at Lloyds was fantastic. Fantastic. Guy that I owe a lot to because he had the ability to literally wipe the floor with me. He saw me on my knees, thought, fuck, I can take these guys for everything. He goes, I'm going to give you a chance. He goes, one chance, one default payment, I'm pulling it all. So structured it all. Got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that moment. Life-changing moment. 11th of November 2025, 11:59. All the debt goes to zero. 12th of November, midnight, I turn 45. Complete debt-free. Off the hook for everything.
And you're already down to 4%.
I'm already down to 4%. We could probably clear it off now.
Yeah. Stick to the date.
Stick to that. We've got a goal. We'll stick to that.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. It's been a journey. It's been a phenomenal journey. I can talk to you about the highs. I can talk to you about days where we bought a development site. We were going to build 24 houses on it. Lidl Aldi? Lidl came to us. They offered us more money to buy the site unconditionally off us than we were to actually build it. I remember sitting there with a cheque thinking, we've done fuck all for this.
Yeah.
We've got, millions of pounds of profit from a site that we've not done anything with. We literally got the planning, and that's it. But it's great. They're the great days, but they're like needle in a haystack. I've done lots of things like I trade property. So I 4 years ago, I built an app called the Property Investor app.
Yeah.
So the Property Investor app is pretty much what, if I was to describe it in 10 seconds, it's the right move, but for property deals. So we get below market value deals, rent-to-rent deals, lease option deals, service accommodation deals, commercial to residential deals, land deals. And these are all the properties that are in the UK. But believe it or not, I think I can bring it to Dubai. I've actually unearthed a couple of properties whilst I've been here. Again, below market value deals, which aren't really a thing here. Below market value deals aren't really touted about. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, when they come up, somebody wants you to complete on them within hours sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and it's generally because they're desperate.
Yeah, so there's a couple of opportunities that I've unearthed. I thought, yeah, okay, that can work. So I've built that. I've done a lot in property. Done a hell of a lot in property. I'm not one that's on socials shouting about it. I'm not one that if anyone looks at my socials, I've got two kinds of profiles. I've got social Arsh that you'll probably see on social media where it's like head down in the trenches doing what I need to do. But then on the weekend, I've got just like Arsh, lifestyle Arsh. Arsh likes fancy stuff, but you'll never see it on socials.
Sure.
Never ever see anything on social. The probably thing that you're probably only going to see is a watch that I'm wearing here in Dubai. Never wear them in the UK.
You lose your arm, wouldn't you?
Yeah, lose your arm. Yeah, so I've got a good collection. I've got a good collection of stuff, of nice things that I've accumulated because I go back to the point of that meeting with Lloyd's. Whenever I think times are shit, I think can't be any worse than where I was.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use some of the terminology that some of the kids on social media use. It's been a movie. It's been a movie. Honestly, it's not been a movie. It's just a look. It's a look that I got.
Yeah. It's enough to scare you, right?
You refer to the look. I always just refer to the look. There are points, James, where everyone was coming in and taking everything because we had nice cars. I was driving nice cars and stuff. Back in 2000, from 2004 to 2008, 24-year-old, I was flash, man. I was really flash. And I thought, we made it. And it was all gone like...
Click of a finger.
All gone. They came and took the cars. Remember, my car was parked on my mum and dad's drive. Knock on the door. Oh, we've got to take that. I just got the look. And then I said, well, what am I going to drive now? My dad says, you've got to go and find something now. So start mopping up this mess. He goes, I've worked too hard. I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
Too old for this now. He goes, I don't need this stress. And he goes, so I had to buy a second-hand silver BMW compact. I think
I
compact.
remember them.
Yeah, manual. It had like 130,000 miles on the clock. Used to break down every other week.
Yeah.
And there's points, James, where I just thought, I can't afford to cut my hair this month.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was genuinely a horrible time.
You know what it is, Arsh? I think there's a lot of people on social media today, they've never had any fuck-ups. They've never actually gone through anything substantial enough for them to think, you know what, this has been a hard journey for me. I think there's the more and more people I speak to from our generation, say in their 40s, a lot of them have gone through some things where they've really had a hard kick in the nuts.
You have to have, and they will get a kick in the nuts, and they won't know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
they genuinely won't know how to deal with it, and I say this in the nicest possible way. You need that kick in the nuts.
Absolutely.
You need that kick in the nuts. You need to be at that point where you're on your knees thinking, I'm going to lose everything here.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose everything. And and there'll be two kinds of people. One person will put their head in sand and they'll lose it. The other person literally will turn around and say, well, I need to restructure this. Now, as a result of whatever happened back in 2008, I've only now just started speaking to my brother. It's taken me 16 years to literally say to him, you know what, you did me wrong there. You walked away, you left me with a load of debt, and it's my debt. I had to take that debt on personally. If I didn't take that debt on, they would took everything. I said to him, you left me with, multi-million-pound debt. You guys just walked off. And the youngest one had to deal with it. And if I didn't, and they were just saying, let them take it. And I said, you can't do that. Too many people have worked too hard for that. For you just to piss it up in the wall and enjoyed the good times, but now, bit of hard times, walk away. And that period, there's another, I owned a care home in a standard limited company. And as part of this process there's a care home, we bought it for, I think it's 450 or 500. And there was a care home that was leasing offers for 65,000 a year. And we thought that was good back then. And they had a 10-year FRI lease. Year one, fine, everything working well. Year two, rocky grounds. We started to notice payments were coming in. Yeah, instead of first of the month, it's coming in third of the month. And then year three, they went bust. And I was sat there with this property now thinking, oh my God. And this was part of the mess. I thought, we've got a 17-bed care home in West Brom now, in West Bromwich. What are we going to do with it? And one of my brothers said, don't worry, it'll be part of the mess. We'll just let it go. I said, we can't just keep letting things go.
Yeah.
I said, it's not in my DNA. It's not in my makeup. They go, oh, she goes, how the fuck are we going to make this work? I said, we will make it work. And I just went back to grassroots. I said, we've got 17 bedrooms. And I don't mind saying this. I said, fuck the red tape. Let's rent out 17 bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's a care home. Technically, it should have planning for a HMO. Let's just run it, because at the moment, we owe approximately £4,000 a month on it. And we haven't got £4,000 surplus cash flow because we've now tied ourselves to Lloyd's for that. So we don't have any cash flow. We are now working to make ends meet. We were dot to dot. And that's why we had to be real consistent with the checks. And so when you put all the dots, I treat property as a jigsaw. All the pieces have to be in. Otherwise, you've got one piece, missing piece. You're not making money. And so I rented out 17 rooms, and they thought I was crazy. What's he doing? He lost his marbles. Went out to YMCA, went out to all the hostels. They said, we won't touch it, it's too big. I thought, right, let's go back to grassroots. Let's get 17 benefit tenants in. I know I can find 17 benefit tenants tomorrow. I'll let it within 3 weeks. And that property then, instead of generating 65 grand a year, started generating 120 grand a year. And then that's where, if I'm honest, a little bit of self-belief came in from other people. They thought, you know what, you might actually have something there. Because before, I was always like the black sheep. Not the black sheep, but the young kid of the family.
Yeah.
What the fuck does he know? He's young. He's 22 years old, 23 years old. What the fuck does he know about property? But I was always a person that in a room, I was told, you got 2 of these and 1 of those, and you use it in that order.
Yep.
And I just absorbed everything. Everything in life I just absorbed. Okay, we can do this, we can do that. And then that's where I learned to use this. I said, no, we're not sending anything to the wall. We're not letting anything be repossessed. This is what you're going to do. And that's a defining moment in my life as when I probably stepped up to become a man as opposed to just a little brother. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy. But
What a great story, man. What a great story.
But going back to Dubai,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I've done a great deal whilst I've been here. So all the people that I've reached out to, one guy from Wolverhampton, believe it or not, he turned around, he goes, she goes, let's meet for lunch. And I said, yeah, okay, let's meet for lunch. We knew kind of each other of Wolverhampton. We never really got a chance to meet in Wolverhampton. He's always busy. And he's a really, got to meet him 4 or 5 times whilst I've been here. Really switched on guy. And now we're doing a land deal. He owns a piece of land in Wolverhampton. He's never done anything with it. It's a prime location, landmark of a site. Got planning permission for 95 apartments. We've just done the JV deal. We've signed the heads of terms on it.
There you go.
£15 million worth of development.
So that one deal's got your trip's been successful. But coming back to the original question, because we've actually only had, if you think about it, we've actually only asked one question.
Yeah, we have.
And we're coming to the end. Would you? So what is your decision? You're coming to the end of your trip now. This is the last day of your trip, right?
Yeah. So last day's trip. So the question is, can I make it work here? Is that the question?
Well, question is, are you coming?
I'd love to. I think yes. If you're going to ask me, I'm 95% yes. I've still got that 5% of doubt. Still got that 5% of doubt because I keep going back to, I've come here to try and see what I can work. But I've ended up doing a land deal in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, that's going to tie me up for a couple of years but I can still do that remotely. And believe it or not, you can actually fly back and forth to Dubai
Very cheaply.
It's not that
long. Yeah, it's not that long
cheaply.
Either.
Well, one of my father-in-law's mates, can I tell you a very quick story?
Yeah.
He travels around the world. So he's quite old, 67 years old. All his kids grown up and unfortunately his wife passed away. And last year he went to 17 countries. I said, so how did you do that? I said, just out of curiosity. And, one thing that I always think, so how's he affording to go to 17 countries? Not the pessimist, but just just really want to understand it. He goes, last year I spent £17,000 travelling to all these countries. I said, so what did you do? I said, because you've travelled to Dubai from UK. So how much did it cost you to get here? He goes, you won't believe me, £48.
What?
Flew from Luton he had to do a 4-hour or 5-hour stay over in a different country. And then from there, flew into Abu Dhabi. Then he got coached from Abu Dhabi into Dubai.
For less than 50 quid?
Well, including the coach. The coach cost him 5 dirhams.
Wow.
So 5 dirhams from Abu Dhabi to Dubai.
Wow.
So yeah.
So there's no excuse really, is there? Yeah.
And so that's what I thought. Well, if I do come here, instead of if I'm traveling by myself, you can't have any luggage, you can't have any check-in.
Yeah.
It's all hand luggage. He's got a backpack.
Yeah.
He goes, while I'm there, he just goes, if I need some clothes, I'll just buy some cheap clothes, and then I just leave it there. And then I'll go on to the next place. He's been to the Philippines, he's been to Africa, he's been to Brazil, he's been to Argentina. I said, so you're going back to the UK. Today, he's actually flying back to the UK, 48 quid. 48 quid. I said, so what are you going to do in the UK? Because I said, it's cold there. He goes, I'll probably a couple of weeks there, and then I'm going to go somewhere else.
Sod off again?
Yeah, sod off again.
Wow. I want to ask you a question, Arsh. Many people ask me and they reach out and they say, look, James, I'm thinking about coming to Dubai, man, with the family, but I don't know where to start. What should the procedure be? What questions should I be asking myself? I think you're the perfect person to answer this, considering you've just gone for it.
Yeah.
If there's a family there right now, listening or watching, thinking, I want to do this, or I want to explore this more, what would your advice be to them?
Okay, first thing I'm going to say is I've gone through this process. Get your spreadsheet out and have a look at what's your living costs in the UK. Have a look at then what is your potential living cost going to be in Dubai. So are you going to buy or are you going to rent? Rent, believe it or not. If you're trying to do pound for pound square footage for the house that you've got in the UK to Dubai and you're renting, it's going to be quite expensive.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
No, it's not. So I'm looking at 5-bed property. I'm looking at different locations, and the average, I'd say, got to be looking circa 70 to 80,000 pounds.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
So when you look at that, so straight away, but then you've got to factor in everything else. You've got to factor in the security. You can't put a price on security. You can't put a price on your safety. You can't put a price on the sunshine. So there's two different ways. You've got to look at it from a financial point of view, but also an emotional point of view.
Okay.
And that the emotional point comes from my wife because she loves the sunshine. So, how much happiness is that going to bring them? How much more freedom? And more importantly, as you said before we started this, how much more productive have you been when you're not in the rat race?
Yes.
In the UK, I am in the rat race.
Dude, you've done a £15 million deal. You're in your shorts and your shirt and you're in Dubai.
Yeah. But I'm in the rat race in the UK. Tenant calls me, Arsh, boiler's broken. My instant reaction is, let's go and sort something out.
Yeah.
Here is, okay, I can't do it from here. I pick up the phone, I send someone, and we delegate, and it's done.
And that's the biggest mind. It's probably done better, right?
Yes, the mind shift.
Yeah.
The mind shift has been phenomenal whilst I've been here. You get to have better conversations. You get to have more open conversations, and the scale of stuff is so much better here. So the lifestyle is better. So if you're asking me, what do they need to do? You need to assess what you've got right now in the UK. More importantly, you've got to also identify how much is your real income in the UK, and are you going to be able to sustain that I've looked at this so that if I'm here for 2 years as a trial, have I got sufficient either savings or income still in the UK that can sustain that? So if I don't do a single bit of work for 2 years, can I still tread water? The answer is yes. But I'd like to think with the mindset that I've got now, that I can definitely do stuff whilst I'm here. So I've had meetings with large jewellery companies whilst I've been here. I've had a large jeweller, should I say, one of the large jeweller in Dubai. I've had a meeting with a wealth management company here. I've had a meeting with a family office whilst I've been here. So, and these have all been referrals. I didn't know these people before I got here. So I got referred to a doctor. A doctor invited me to his charity event. 2 days later, he got me sat on his head table. I didn't know him 2 days before. Off there, I met a landlord who had a distressed property in JVC,
Village Circle.
It's not the nicest places,
No.
but He's in negative equity. He bought it for 850,000 dirhams. It's only worth 650,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and structure. I'm not sure if we can do it legally yet because I'm still trying to figure out that part of the jigsaw. But as a lease option, and then I'm going to try and then rent that as almost like a rent-to-service accommodation. It's called subleasing here.
Yeah.
Don't know if JVC is a great area for Airbnb.
It actually is. Yeah.
He wants 70,000 dirhams a year. 70,000 dirhams is equivalent to £15,000 approximately, according to today's currency. Which I've said to him, I want the payment structure to be similar to the UK, so on a month by month as opposed to a check. And because he's based in the UK, he understands that.
Sure.
So I think deals to be done here. Being here for 3 weeks, I've unearthed a lot. And you've just got to be prepared to go out there. And I just went and sat in all the locations. Believe it or not, James, I've got a free office whilst I'm here.
Really?
So I went onto Google, typed in free co-working space in Dubai. I don't know what the area is called. There's an art section.
Okay.
And you don't pay anything for the space. You've got to buy at least 2 coffees during the day.
And that's been your base?
That's been my base.
Fantastic.
And the conversations I've had in that place have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's about 50 other people working. And, you know, in between, you go for a walk, you hear the conversation. You've got real estate over there. You've got someone trading art over there. You've got someone doing this over there. And it's a phenomenal creative space. I've been using that. Literally, cost me 10 dirhams to park outside.
Yeah, all day.
And, all day. And then it's quite expensive because everywhere else is free, right?
Yeah.
And then I've had to buy 2 coffees, but I've been buying, and so the coffees that you buy contribute towards the running cost of the building.
Okay.
It's brilliant. So, you know, you can do whatever you want, but it all comes down to this.
Yeah.
You've got to be this. You've got to be here in the right space. And you can't do that whilst you're in the UK.
No, not at all.
You can't think of what your life's going to be like in Dubai from the UK. You have to come into Dubai like I've done for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And you've got to treat this not as a holiday. So I've not been to any beach clubs. I've not done any of the brunches. Not been out partying, dancing. I've gone to bed 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Is that what you've told the wife?
No, I spoke to her. I spoke to her. Noise cancellation headphones. Honey, I'm in bed. Wait there. One more drink now. So, yeah, no, but I've actually treated it as real working holiday.
Wow.
So I've not been to any beach clubs, not done this, I've not done that. The only time that I kind of took my foot off the pedal was when I sat on JBR Beach last Saturday for the afternoon. And that's the only time that I've not worked. Other than that, I've been going from meeting. This afternoon, I'm going to the International Property Show.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember what area it's called. Tomorrow, I'm going to Dubai Yacht Show just to see what calibre of people are going to be there.
Yeah.
So from your point of view, perfect place to find buyers.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's just constantly networking and everyone's open to a conversation. No one ever tells you, say, Arsh, get lost.
Yeah. So would you say, look, let's finish it up on this. Would you say that anybody considering this and anybody who can afford to do it should do it?
100%. Where everyone that I've spoken to says that Dubai is going to continue to double in population. There are more buildings being offered. If you notice, they're building further out into the desert.
Yep.
So even though this is populated, they're going further and further out.
They're the areas that I concentrate on.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Well, look, Arsh, we're running out of time, but
we could have talked for hours.
100%. But you know what the great thing is? We're going to have to come back for another sitting because it's always when you run out of time. I think episode 2 will probably be when you're back here again.
Yeah, and we could tell you the good stuff about property. I felt like I've been quite not negative.
I think the negative helps because look, I think there's too many people on social media that are faking it. There's too many people that are telling good stories on social media about property just to sell courses or to do whatever bollocks. Yeah. So I think
that's probably why I'm not so popular on socials because I'm not telling you you can make £1 million tomorrow.
Yeah, me neither. I quite like going there and telling people the disaster stories and how things fuck up, basically.
Yeah. But what I can tell you is that property is a marathon.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a sprint. Anyone that's telling you that you can make quick cash tomorrow is going to be out of business tomorrow.
And we'll finish it on that. Arsh, thank you so much for joining me here on the J2 Hub podcast. And anybody who wants to follow Arsh, I'm going to put all his details there in the show notes, and do reach out to him. Go check out his platform, especially if you're in the UK and you're looking for those below market value deals and you want to get something that's a little bit hot. I know he's got a lot of nice stuff on there. Arsh, thank you.
Thank you.